What's going on, guys? It's your host, Uzziah, your success strategist, and welcome to the Uzziah Show. Today, we are going to talk about how I bought my first rental property in Austin, one of the top rental markets in the world. For those of you guys that are looking to be real estate investors and make passive income, then this is the show for you. Guys, if you're on, get excited. Leave me some comments, okay? Smash that like button. For those of you that are joining me for the very first time, my name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant, and my job is to help you get out of debt so you could start your own business and create generational wealth. Now, let me give a big shout out to those of y'all that are already on. Big shout out to my sis, LA for Life. So good to see you on LA for Life. All right. Always a pleasure. Ariel, good to see you on as well. Let's talk. How did I buy my very first rental property here in Austin, one of the most competitive rental markets in the world? Guys, for those of you that have not heard about Austin, Austin is blowing up. And in today's show, I'm going to walk you step by step through the entire process that I went through so that you will know exactly how to be a real estate investor yourself and what things that you need to look out for when buying properties. Okay. So if you love what this channel is about, please make sure that you smash that thumbs up button. This will tell YouTube to send this out to more people. And also, please make sure, guys, that you donate to the channel. Keep the show going. All you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box, and that will start a super chat donation. As soon as you give a donation, I'll be sure to shout you out. And if you prefer to use Cash App or PayPal instead, the donation information is on the screen, and you can also click the links in the description below. Shout out to Devin Harris. Good to see you on, fam. Now, let's talk about this, okay? How did I buy my first investment property in Austin, Texas? Well, I bought my very first investment property here in Austin at 25. And at that time, the market was not as popular as it is today. From the time that I bought the property up until now, my property value has more than doubled. When I initially got the property back in 2014, I got this property at $230,000. I bought a duplex. And since that time, it has now been valued at over $500,000. And so I was very blessed to get in this market before it had the growth that it has today. And I'm pretty certain that all of the steps that I used, even at that time, are the exact same things that I would do if I was to get another property right now. And I know that because I'm actually in the midst of doing that behind the scenes. I've been in contract for a few months on getting another property. And so today I'm going to give you guys some of my best tips. Now, reasons why you should be an investor, especially in Austin. Austin is blowing up. Austin is one of the top 10 rental markets in the United States. Now, I speak about Austin specifically because I want to share with you guys an article on how Austin is blowing up. Elon Musk, who is now the richest man in the world, predicts that Austin, Texas will be the biggest boomtown that America has seen in 50 years. Okay. Y'all know we always go to these articles. So shout out to Fair Use. Elon Musk thinks Austin, Texas is the next big thing, he said. The city will be the biggest boomtown the U.S. has had in 50 years, he said on Joe Rogan's podcast. The Tesla CEO moved to Texas after spats with California's public health officials. Now, as many of you may know, Tesla is relocating to Austin. Their headquarters is actually going to be established here in Austin, Texas, along with so many other companies. You've probably heard the news that there are a lot of major tech companies that are also moving to Austin. See, the reason why Elon is talking about the biggest boomtown in the past 50 years is because everybody remembers how the gold rush was in California. And at one point in time, everybody would go to California because they wanted to be a movie star, they wanted to be famous, they wanted the weather. And you got to understand, guys, the market always changes. There's always a shift in the marketplace. And now Austin is becoming what California used to be. Austin is becoming the hot spot that everybody wants to be at, and it is driving prices through the roof. So if you can be a rental investor in any property here in Austin, there is a really good shot that you will make a good return on your money. Okay. Now, as we see in this Joe Rogan podcast, Elon Musk chose this is the place for this to be the $1 billion factory that he would build for Tesla's electric pickup truck, but let's talk more specifically about you and getting invested into real estate. Okay, so shout out to creativity. All right, I'm so happy that you're on. Glad, thank you for liking and sharing. For those of you that have yet to do so, please make sure that you smash that like button. Also, make sure that you please donate. That's what keeps this show on air. Okay, so the very first thing that I did to buy my rental property in Austin is I took a real estate course so that way I could know the game. A lot of you out there, you want to get straight into the property. That's a mistake because there's only but so many times that you're probably going to have an opportunity to buy real estate during your lifetime, right? You want to almost think about it as a ride around the carousel. Wherever you um wherever you land within that carousel, right? You're going to be spinning on there for a while until that ride is over. And so you don't want to go into getting a property blindly. You want to know all of the tricks of the trade because if you're going to get an investment property in a very competitive market, you have to be able to see other things. You have to be able to see things that other people don't see. You can't just say, oh, look, that looks like a nice house. I want to buy that. You can't do that because oftentimes the houses that look the nicest end up giving you some of the worst return on investments. Keep in mind, guys, you're buying this as a rental property. This is not going to be your dream home. So you have to look at different indicators than what you would use if you were trying to get into a nice place yourself. A lot of people are still in homeowner mode, but there are different variables that you must consider because when you buy an investment property, you're looking for profit. You are not looking for comfort. You are not looking for convenience. You are looking for what will give you the best return on your money. In order for you to know that, you have to study real estate investing. Now, way back when, like I said, at the time I was 25 years old, I didn't know anything about real estate and I signed up for like this Rich Dad course. Some of you guys know about Rob Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There was some kind of offshoot program that they were having at the time. It was a live real estate program on real estate investing. And my wife and I, we signed up for it. This was after I had already paid off my $95,000 in student loans. Me paying off my student loans gave me the cash flow that I needed to be able to get into the course. So I got into the course and I learned some really good information. I learned a lot of good fundamentals about how to go about finding the right properties. What's the difference between a profitable property versus one that isn't? Some of the top factors that you need to look forward for in any neighborhood where you're going to buy in certain locations. I learned all of those things in that program. And I think that that was the very best step for me to take because unless I was a real estate agent and I really had a handle on how properties work here in Austin, I easily could have ended up going for the wrong place. In fact, when I just started going off of my own thoughts, I initially had somewhere different in mind. It wasn't until I actually started studying that I found more profitable properties that were being established in North Austin. Okay, so the very first thing that I would recommend all of you to do is to get into a real estate investing program, whether it's a real estate investment book, a real estate investment course. I'm going to start opening back up my consulting. So, for those of you guys that want to work with me through the process of buying your first investment property, uh, feel free to do so. Okay. But again, I want to stress, if you're just somebody with money and you say, no, I don't want to take a course, I just want to go and buy right now, you're going to regret it. Because one of the things about these properties here in Austin is the prices are getting so astronomical that there's a good chance that you will either end up paying far too much for the property, or you will end up getting a property that is undervalued but requires so much work in renovations that that's going to cut into a lot of your profits. A lot of you guys may not have a lot of upfront investment capital, and as a result, you can't afford to get into that big of a fixer upper type property. You got to know how to spot a property that's in fairly decent condition, knowing that as soon as you get the property, you can already start renting it out. Because if you are getting a property that is really convenient for you, chances are somebody is already renting it. When I got this property here in Austin, I already had a tenant that was occupying the property before I even got it. Like, this was a lady that was at the property for like 10 years. So I knew that this would be a good starting investment because I didn't have to worry about going off and finding tenants. I already had a tenant that had a solid track record of making payments on time for the past 10 years. I'm throwing a lot of gems at y'all in a very short amount of time. So hopefully y'all are liking. Hopefully y'all are donating. Hopefully y'all are commenting. I may not always keep this up. Some of this stuff is Patreon level game. Okay. So thank you so much for your donation, LA for Life. I really, 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 really appreciate you. LA for Life said, let's get it started. Blessings, brother Uzziah. Blessings back to you as always. Okay. So for those of y'all that are really enjoying this broadcast, please make sure that you donate. All you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box, and then that will set up your super chat so you can donate. If you are donating through Cash App or PayPal, feel free to send me a message and let me know in the comment section, so that way I make sure you get a shout out as well. If you're just now joining, I'm walking you through the step-by-step process on how I bought my first investment property here in Austin, Texas. As I walk through the process of how I did it, I'm going to be showing you everything that you need to do in order to be successful as a real estate investor. So, as I went over in step one, I bought my first rental property at age 25 by first studying real estate for myself. If you know nothing about real estate investing specifically, you can go out into this market and make big mistakes. And one of the last things that you want to do, guys, especially when you're renting in Austin, is make a big mistake, because you're going to make a mistake with a lot of dollar signs behind it, a lot of zeros behind it. Renting in Austin is not cheap. So if you're going to invest in an upscale neighborhood, whether it's New York City, Los Angeles, Miami, you need to know what you're doing, because either your investment property can be very profitable or it can be very detrimental to your bottom line. So you need to know what you're doing correctly the first time. Okay, so you study, you take the course. The second thing that I did upon taking the course was I searched for a top rated real estate agent in the city of Austin who specializes in finding profitable investment properties. Now, you may be wondering, Uzziah, why would you take a course on real estate investing to slow things down when you could have easily just Googled a top rated agent in the first place? I have the money right now. I'm ready to get started. The reason why I took the course first is because, just like in any industry, you can always be exploited if you know nothing about it. If you start working with a real estate agent and you know nothing about the ins and outs of real estate investing, they can sell you on a property that gets them the most commissions rather than you the most profits. You've got to know something about how the game is played so that way you know whether or not they're just, selling you a bill of goods, right? People could be talking up a good one and they could be convincing you, oh, yeah, this is the one. But the only reason why they're telling you that this property is the property is because of what they're going to make off of it and not you. Even when we're thinking about top rated real estate agents, people could be top rated because they're very nice, they're very friendly, they're very outgoing, they're very consistent in reaching out. But that doesn't guarantee that they're always going to 100% have your best interest at heart. You don't have to worry about knowing everything that there is to know about real estate, nor do you need a real estate license. You just need to know specifically how to find profitable investment properties, and you need to partner with a real estate agent who specializes in investment properties themselves. Now, let me put out here as a caveat, this is my recommendation for the average person who is not looking to make a full-blown career in real estate. I'm not talking to those of you guys that are already looking to get your real estate license, who are looking to be agents yourselves. I'm talking about those of you who have careers in other areas, but you want to start investing in real estate just as another stream of passive income. To set the stage and give you some context, when I was 25, I was an IT project manager in corporate America. I had no intentions of being a full-time real estate investor, but I needed a place to house my money because I just got out of my student loan debt and I had thousands of dollars in disposable cash flow. I needed to start harvesting that money into something lucrative so that I could get a return on my investment, because everybody knows saving money does not make you rich. Okay. So since I needed to invest in something, that's why I was drawn to real estate. And so I took the course. I learned what I needed to know from the program. And then upon me having a good foundation, then that's when I started to look for somebody else who already had a strong track record within the city. This is another reason why finding a specialist in Austin will be very beneficial for you, because there is a network of people that look out for each other. If you are a person that wants to do everything on your own, that's going to work against you, because there's so much money that people are making in Austin right now that people are partnering with other people to make sure that they look out for each other in terms of getting properties. So, as an example, if you come into Austin right now and nobody knows you, you are not going to have a better relationship with a seller than a real estate agent who's been working alongside the seller for the past 10 years. They're going to always look out for each other. The agent is going to say, hey, I got a guy right here. He wants to buy this property for this price. I'll make sure that they buy the property at a certain price that's good for you. In turn, let me know what we need to make sure that we're the winning bid. I'm telling you, this is how people look out for each other. These are the secrets of how the game is played. No real estate agent will ever tell you this. I'm telling you this because I have your best interest at heart. So make sure that you take the course, because you having the knowledge about the real estate game is a lot about whenever you take a vehicle to a mechanic. If you are a woman that takes a vehicle to the mechanic, Oftentimes, mechanics will presume that you know nothing about the car. They will see you in a state of desperation, and they will try to sell you on all of these things, knowing that all you're trying to do is just spend money and get out of there. The people that spend the least amount of money in dealing with car mechanics are those that know about how to repair cars themselves. And maybe it's just that the nature of the work is maybe outside of their scope. They don't have time to do it. But when they work with the mechanic, they don't allow the mechanic to run game. Okay. You got to understand how to work this game. Okay. So study the marketplace, then find someone that not only has a top rating for service, but is also very well connected amongst sellers in the market. Okay. You want to make sure that they have solid relationships with the people who you're looking to buy these properties from. The third thing that I did is I saved 20% down on my investment property. Now, not everybody needs to do this. I'm just giving you guys what I did. I'm staying true to the title on this, how I bought my first investment property. I'm letting you know what I did, so that way you could say, this is how I want to do it, or I'm going to do it another way. Avro Jones asks, what are your thoughts on wholesale real estate? I think it's fine. It really, the real estate strategy that you use has a lot to do with what you're looking for in terms of a long-term objective. If some of you guys are looking to do property flips, then you got to make sure that you know how to play that game. You got to make sure that you are the right person that knows how to be effective there. I always determined that I wanted a property that I could buy and hold because, again, I didn't want to make a career out of it. I just wanted to take my money and park it somewhere. And I figured that, if I have a long term real estate property, I won't get rich from it overnight, but I will build wealth through the amount of money that I could make from tenants over time. And again, when I got my property, guys, I did it really as a double whammy because when I got the property, I rented one unit and lived in the other. So essentially, I was occupying my property for free. See, these are all things that you guys want to consider. There's no one size fits all. There's more than one way for you guys to be successful in this area. And for those of you that are still like really young, that don't have families, I strongly recommend you guys looking into investment properties where you can rent out certain units of a multifamily unit property and just occupy one of the units yourself, because this will be one of the most affordable ways that you can live in any property as soon as you're an adult. Somebody else can pay for it. You make money from it, okay? And you will get tax benefits from that. You'll be able to mark off depreciation. You'll be able to do all kinds of things to create wealth just by having that structure. But the reason why I got into getting a duplex personally is because I wanted to start off small. I knew that I didn't want to get into this thing full time. And I was looking for a property where I could rent out one side and stay in the other, pretty much rent free. And I knew that I would hold on to it long enough to where the compound effect of me getting those rental checks so many years in total would lead towards long-term wealth. I always went into this with the mentality that not only would I be able to stay somewhere for free and make money from it and increase the equity on it, if I ever had a child, I could always give them the property and they could make money from the property while also occupying one of the units if they needed a place to stay. I did this with generational wealth intentions. So I want you guys to understand that You may pursue real estate for different reasons than me. As you can see, as you look under the hood of my story, there's a lot of layers behind it. I think what would be wise for all of you guys to do is to just write out a list of what your objectives are into why you want to be a real estate investor. Do you want to be a full-time real estate investor, or is this just something that you're doing for fun on the side? Um, are you looking to invest in real estate purely for profit, or are you looking for a location also? Are you the type of person that does better at flips? Or are you the type of person that does better playing the long game? These are all things that you need to know about yourself, because you'll want to leverage this when it comes to what you should do in terms of being a real estate investor. If you guys got other questions concerning real estate, ask them in the comment section. I'm also going to give you guys a link to Cam Up, so that way I could help you guys more in real time. Okay. I want to do all I can from this broadcast to help you guys get started as real estate investors. So if you guys are looking to get started, feel free to leave me a comment with questions, or click that link and Cam Up so that way I can help. Make sure that you donate, guys. That's what keeps the show going. Okay. Shout out to LA for Life for that $20 sponsorship that we got. It's been almost 30 minutes since the last donation, so please make sure that you donate. Now, back to where we were. You study the property. You study the market. You rub shoulders with somebody who's already seasoned in this game, that has access to the marketplace. And it's not just about Austin, guys. You could do this in any city. The same formula applies, okay? I put down a 10% down payment on the property because I was looking to avoid PMI, private mortgage insurance. When you have PMI, you're going to pay a little bit more on the cost of your mortgage every month, because when you don't put up enough in your down payment, the bank will charge you more as a way of ensuring themselves that they got more out of you, just in case you end up not being able to afford this property. Does that make sense? A lot of you guys are familiar with the housing crash that happened within the recent decades. And during that time, there were a lot of people that bought properties that they could not afford. So if you cannot make a 20% down payment on a property, and I think in some cases, maybe even investment properties, maybe 25%, when you can't make that type of down payment on a property, the bank is going to charge you more because they want to get more from you up front. These are things that you need to know. And this is the reason why it also matters for you to understand whether or not this investment property is going to be owner occupied, or if it's going to be purely investment property. What I mean when I say owner occupied is you're living in one of the units while renting out the rest. If you live in one of those units, you can qualify that as a place of residence. That will come with certain benefits. It will be more costly if it's purely investment, but you just need to know these things up front, okay? The next thing that I did is that I searched for the best lender that I could find to take care of my pre-approval. Now, see, the banks are very important, because you need to first understand, how will you afford the property that you want to get? I got my property through a traditional mortgage. I got a conventional 15-year fixed mortgage loan, but that may not be the path for everybody. Some of you guys may do a conventional 30-year mortgage. Some of you guys may not do a conventional loan. Some of you guys may look into private financing. There are multiple ways to get an investment property. Some of you guys, you may not have the assets to go through a traditional bank in order to buy a property right now. You may benefit from everything that's going on right now with like all of the mortgage foreclosure moratoriums being lifted, there's probably a lot of opportunities that are happening right now, guys, for you to make certain backdoor deals and have private financing arrangements, so that way your credit and other things don't factor in as much. If you go through a traditional bank, you're going to have your credit on point, and you're going to have some down payment money. Okay. It doesn't need to be 20%. But if you go through a traditional mortgage and set up a conventional loan, you're going to have to go through, all the right checks and balances. Now, let me say a few things on this. For those of you guys that are looking to do a traditional mortgage, try to get your credit score to 760 or higher, because you will qualify for the best interest rates on the property at a score of 760 or higher. If it's lower than that, you may not get the same rates. Okay. And also, it's not even just about the interest rates that you get, it's also about the hassle if your finances are not up to par. So, give a basic example, and this is just typically how banks work. When you got a lot of money, everybody wants to do business with you. When you don't have a lot of money, nobody is checking for you. So, when you go to a bank and your credit score is on a struggle bus, you don't have no down payment money, it's going to be a lot harder to get the banks to want to work with you, because you don't have anything to show that you would be a sound person to invest in. This is the reason why I always express looking into other avenues like private financing. But if you have, say, a 760 credit score or higher, you have a good job or you make good money, you got a certain amount of money set aside, in maybe an account exclusively for down payment money, the banks will love you and they will want to offer you the best loans that they can give. The reason why they're going to do that is because they know that this mortgage market is very competitive. There are a ton of banks that are out there trying to compete, to offer the lowest rates and the best packages covering fees, because banks make their money through loans. That is a whole nother topic. I always talk about why it's not always the best use of your money for you to just be an outright homeowner, because in many cases, the person that benefits from that purchase is the bank and not you. A lot of times, the people that benefit the most from large purchases are banks, because banks understand how the game is played. This is the reason why, for those of you guys that are looking for homes, you need to always compare, should I buy a home or should I rent a home? Because the banks designed the mortgage system for them to benefit. Okay. So you want to look into the best lenders. You want to clean up your credit up front, so that way you can have the easiest time of working with the underwriter. Okay, let me ask this question. I need to get y'all going in these comments. How many of you guys are looking to own your first rental property within the next 5 years? Leave me a comment below. How many of you guys are looking to buy your first rental property within the first 5 years? If you're looking to become a real estate investor within the first 5 years, leave me a comment. Just type a one. So that way I know who I'm talking to. Okay. For those of y'all that are just now joining, I'm walking you through how I bought my first investment property here in Austin, Texas. Please make sure that you smash the like button, and please make sure that you donate to keep this show going. Okay. So I'm seeing some ones in the chat. I'm seeing some me's in the chat. These are all things that you need to know. Do not wait until you're ready to have the property in your name today. Start getting your credit solid right now. Okay. Whether that means going on Credit Karma, whether that means going on Experian Boost. I tell you guys about this in other shows. Okay. Get your credit right now to a 760 or higher so that by the time that you're ready to acquire a property, it will be a breeze. Let me tell you something, guys. You're going to have a ton of work already when you're ready to start getting the properties, because I had to look at a ton of properties before I ended up picking an investment. This is another reason why I was looking for a real estate agent to work alongside me. Okay. They would send me all the listings, and then I would scour through that list one by one, looking at hundreds of properties. And of those couple hundred properties that I would look at, I would choose a select number to personally go out and see. I would do a site selection and go and check out the property. I would inspect the property to see, hey, you know, does this look rentable? Will this take too much work? If I buy this property right now, can I already start renting it out? You're going to have to do some touring on these properties. That's the reason why you want to have everything else already taken care of before you get to that step. You want to already be knowledgeable about real estate. You want to already have your credit going. And once it's time for you to actually acquire the property, you're good to go. And guys, do you know the reason why you really want to do this? Because this rental market right now is so competitive. If you don't have your money, your credit, your paperwork, everything that you need to finish and close already squared away, you are going to be outbid. I'm just telling you that right now. If you're, out here playing and you're trying to finagle things and, oh, yeah, I want this property, but let me come back to y'all whenever I got, 50,000 more dollars, you're going to miss out, because there are a lot of people that are coming to Austin with California money. There are a lot of people that are coming to Austin with California money, New York money, Miami money. And when they sold their homes in the cities where they moved from, they're just dumping that into the brand new property, and they're already ready to move in. I'm telling y'all, Austin may seem very expensive to a lot of Southern people, but from people that come from other parts of the world, this is a steal. So they're racing to sell their homes. And you got to think about this, guys. A lot of the biggest companies in the United States are moving to Austin. So a lot of employees are relocating here. Okay. So, guys, if you're going to get something solid, you have to have your ducks in a row. Okay. You need to already know what's your down payment need to be. You need to already know what's your credit going to be. Before you ever work with the underwriter, make sure that all of this stuff is crystal clear. Now, going back to what I was just talking about, I was able to secure this investment property because I made immediate offers on properties that had a 70% chance of succeeding as an investment. Listen to what I just said. I made immediate offers on properties that had a 70% probability of success. I did not need 100% assurance, guys. That's where a lot of you guys go wrong too. You get so worried that you end up missing out. You are not the only person that wants to be a real estate investor. When I got this property here in North Austin, there were 5 other bids that were being made at the time on top of my 6th. I remember there were certain properties that I wanted that I could not get because my competitors were buying in cash. Every time I'll end up getting beat out for properties in Austin is if somebody is bringing cash to the table, or they're willing to make more sacrifices to accept the property in the condition than I was willing to make. So you got a lot of people now that are doing offers and they're saying, we don't need to have any inspection. Just give us the property. We'll buy it off top. You got a lot of people right now who are in Austin that are selling properties because it's too expensive for them. And they say, hey, even if you buy this property, let me live in the property 30 days after closing. Believe it or not, people are doing that. And that's what makes other people's offers more competitive because they're like, okay, hey, I don't need to move into this property. So I'll let you stay in there as long as you need, as long as I have this property under my name, as long as we've worked out a clear date on when your move out will be, then you're good to go. I'm telling you, it's getting very competitive here, guys. If you don't follow these steps that I'm giving you in tonight's broadcast, it will be very easy for you to get beat out because, as I said, a lot of people are coming here already just transferring the money that they already had from the sale of their last property, and they're just dumping that into the current place. So if you're going to beat out people who are putting in more of a down payment than you need to know the tricks of the trade. You cannot wait. A lot of times when properties go up on the market here in Austin, a property could be listed by Friday and the property will be sold by Monday. Hear what I'm saying? If you are not prepared to enter into negotiation or start being in frequent communication over the course of one weekend, you're moving too slow. A lot of properties in Austin throughout this past year have gone on the market by Friday, and by Monday evening, they already had somebody that was getting ready to move in and close on that property. Okay. This is the reason why you have to make immediate offers. You cannot play with it. If there is a 70% chance that this property is going to be profitable for you, you need to start making offers. Okay. And also, what I did for my property is that I over purchased. When I got this property, I predicted that this would be something that would blow up in time. My real estate agent was telling me, hey, why are you buying this at this price, Uzziah? I know that you want to have the highest bid, but it's too much. I said, don't worry. I believe that this area will become the Manhattan of Austin, Texas in the next 5 years. And sure enough, when these companies started coming to Austin, they started setting up shop right around the corner from the property. Apple has a large $1 billion center that's only about a mile away from where I live. Like I said, Tesla is here, Facebook, Google, all of these companies. And for me, that's a win because when people start coming from other states that were used to paying higher rent, I could raise the prices on my property and it wouldn't even be that big deal to them. If you coming from California, you're used to paying $2,000-3,000 a month to live in a cardboard box. So if I offer you a property, giving you more space in a better location, you'll gladly pay the cost. This is why you would want to be a real estate investor in this kind of market. One of the main things that real estate investors and agents both say alike is location, location, location. And you want to be very mindful about the kind of location that you are investing in when getting a property. If there's not a lot of traffic in that area, there's no guarantee that you're going to have a lot of cash flow coming in that property, right? In Austin, I know that I will always make money because Austin is like 98% renter occupied. So every time one person leaves, there's another person that's already coming right behind them. Okay. There are people that are trying to get here all the time. And that makes it easier on you. You know why? Because when you rent out a property that is very occupied within the city, you don't have to put in as much work to fix it up. The more in demand a city is, the more inclined people are to live there without it being in picture perfect condition. If you're buying a property and it's in the middle of nowhere and you want somebody to live there, it's gotta be great, because what else is going to entice the person to live there? Okay. So, guys, leave me comments. Okay. Leave me comments. Start asking me some questions, because I want to show you guys how you can invest in real estate. But I need to know what questions you have. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. Also, feel free to cam up if you choose to do so. Okay. LA for Life asks, how did you know that, Uzziah? Where'd you get that insight from? What specifically, sis? Could you give me a little bit of detail on that when you asked about how did you know that? How did I know what specifically? Okay. Um, LA for Life also said, I recommend anyone that wants to invest in real estate should take a real estate course. Facts. Okay. So checking these comments, Ronald Pierre said, man, this is great. If it's great, y'all, can I get some love? Can I get a donation, please? All you got to do is just give a super chat to keep this show going. Okay. Okay. LA for Life asked, how did you know Austin would be like Manhattan? Great question. I knew that that Austin would be like Manhattan because I was here. I was physically present in the city that was blowing up. So I had a different perspective than people that were outside of the city and state that didn't know what was going on. This is another major key. For those of you guys that are trying to be real estate investors, you don't have to do this, but you kind of want to start to get familiar with the city itself. Like, shop around there, get to know the people, get to be around the school systems, like, get to understand how the people there operate. Are the people there rich or are they poor? Are people moving into the city or are they moving out of the city? Shout out to my sister Shemaya for the $5 super chat. Thanks for the love. You need to start to really familiarize yourself with the location, because it's like I said again, the benefits come to those who already have personal relationships within the city. Like, okay, if I were you guys, you know what I would do? If I were moving to Austin, I would start trying to contact people in Austin right now, whether it's in Facebook or LinkedIn. Start asking comments on your Facebook post. What do you think about the city of Austin? Where are the best schools? And you don't even need to put it out there as like you're trying to pitch it. Use it like this. Hey guys, I'm from California. I'm moving to Austin. I'm bringing me and my family with me. I got a couple kids that I need to put into public school. Could you tell me what some of the best public schools are in Austin? People will love to talk all about it. Start joining some of the Facebook groups for Austin. Like, I'm in certain financial groups in Austin for people that like to invest money, for people that like to invest in real estate, for people that like to start businesses and things like that. This is the reason why they have things like meetup.com. You got to just start getting involved. If you're a million miles away, you don't know what the hell is going on. So even if you are far away, you need to start building relationships with the people that are here. Some of you guys may work for companies that have a branch in Austin. Start hitting up your coworkers. Start asking them, hey, what's it like in Austin? I'm thinking about moving there. I see that you're one of my coworkers for the company. Use your LinkedIn. Like, guys, your network is your net worth. The more that you can know people, the more that you can know where things are going. I knew where things were going in Austin because with me not only living here, but also being a tech guy here, I knew that Austin was going to blow up because I was working for the top technology company in the world. I was working at the number one technology company in the world at the time. So I already knew what our growth looked like as well as that of our competitors. Because you know what was happening, LA for life? When I was working at Hewlett Packard, I started to see people go and get jobs at Facebook. I said, damn, Facebook is here? Then people started working at Dell. Then people started working at Google. And I said, oh man, all of these companies are coming to Austin one by one, and they're starting to take up, market share. So I knew, especially having been from California, just like you, that the most expensive places in California is where the big tech companies are located. So if the most expensive places in California is where tech is located, then the most expensive places in the South is where tech will be located. And quite naturally, I position myself to get a real estate investment property where the big tech companies are located. 20 minutes away from Hewlett Packard, 10 minutes away from Apple, 5 minutes away from Google. I said, okay, what's the centerpiece right here? This is going to be it right here. Let me just put myself in position right here, and then the money will come. Because I know that if the tech companies come, there's going to be people traveling from all around the world, paying whatever money that they need to pay to be here. You got to go where the money is going, guys. Go where the money is going. And that's why I'm trying to show you guys how to play the game. You don't need any money to start investing in real estate, honestly. But I might have to leave that a little bit on the Patreon. Y'all know how it is. What I would say is this. I recommend for those of you guys that are going in with little to no money to either start seeking private financing or to start doing a fundraised partnership. You could start raising the money that you need to get the property from outside sources. You can bring other people in on the deal. For those of you guys that are in college, for example, for y'all that are struggling in college, you ain't got no money because you ain't got a job. Try to make a point of just getting a real estate property with a group of your friends. Like if you know that all of you are in Austin and you're going to graduate from a school in Austin, just rub some nickels together and go to the bank and buy one property together. And then each one of you can eat off of that one property alone, whether it is maybe like a fourplex or something like that. Just get you a property and say, okay, we can all go in on this property together, and that's just your starter property. And then you can go from there, guys. It doesn't just have to be one property for the rest of your life. Okay. You could just start off there. So if it were me and I were to do this, having little to no money, I would either go through private investing, not the bank, or private financing, not the bank, or I would go through some kind of fundraised effort. Okay. And there's many different ways to do that. But if you want to know more on that, I'm going to save that for the Patreon as well as the consulting. Okay. I'm just having to ask y'all to smash that like button and to donate. So that way I'll put out as much content on this platform as possible. All right. So if y'all like what we're talking about, if you like what this show is about, please make sure that y'all show some support, y'all. I really, really would appreciate it. And once again, for those of y'all that prefer using Cash App, all you got to do is do $ the Uzziah Show. And it will be greatly appreciated. The links to donate are in the description below. Now, you got to get ready to go through the paperwork process, and you got to over purchase. Okay. You got to over purchase, guys. Now, let me say this. Every now and then, there's going to be this rare gem that you will find in any rental market that you don't have to overpay. It's a sleeper pick. If you got one of those, blessings to you. But in Austin specifically, where everybody is trying to get their hand on some property, chances are you may not be able to get that rare thing. Better for you to just get your hand on something because, guys, it's not about today. This is a long game. Even if you are overpaying on some level, in time, you will get a return on your investment. And let me say this, for you to really get a solid ROI on your real estate investment, especially for those of you guys that are buying and holding, at least have the property anywhere between 5 to 10 years. Okay. It really needs to be longer than 5. Try to go for 10 years or more. Okay. Because it's going to take time for you to be able to get all of the money back based upon how much you're putting into the property from renovations and repairs, property taxes, mortgage costs, etc. You need to give yourself time to get a return on investment. Shout out to my brother Rodney Lawrence. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, King. Okay. LA for Life says, Uzziah, have you heard of a company buying up property to get people to rent, not to buy homes? Yes, I have heard of that. You know, there's a lot of speculation about that in the marketplace. There's a big debate that there are companies in the rental markets who will kind of um start buying up a series of properties, or saying that properties are valued at a certain amount because they're trying to influence the market. They're trying to influence where the market is going. I won't go too deep into detail on that, but what I will say is there is debate about whether or not some companies are kind of manipulating the real estate market by saying that certain homes are priced at certain amounts because they're trying to direct traffic into certain locations. But yes, just this, okay, again, this is the reason why I tell you guys, you need to study rental investing on your own so that you're not just at the mercy of these companies. You don't know what backdoor practices they're doing, but you will know the red flags if you know something about real estate investing yourself. If you know absolutely nothing, you will be fooled. Okay, so make sure that you start to learn. Also, this is the reason why I tell you guys, if you're going to start getting rental properties, start working with the people that are already well established in the cities, because they're the ones that are able to get hookups from the sellers. When you don't have a good relationship, when your agent does not have a good relationship with the seller and other people that are in the real estate game within your vicinity, it's always going to be harder for you to be able to be the winning bid, because there's going to be somebody amongst those bidders that does have an agent who is in good with the seller, and um they're going to require more of you to walk away. If they're not your friend, they're not going to give you friend offers. They're not going to give you friend hookups. They're going to make it more hard for you to be able to get that property, and that's just going to come with more difficulty on your end. But guys, just to recap everything that we went over, I bought my first investment property here in Austin, Texas at 25 by one, studying real estate investing myself, two, researching the top rated real estate agents in North Austin that specialize in investment properties. Okay. Somebody who already had a good handle on what was going on, how much they knew, because this goes into another thing, LA for Life. The agent would know, hey, this is how much the properties in Austin are really going for. This is what this was what it was listed for. This is what it really sold for. They will know. And then they'll kind of tell you where the market is going. Also, I put down a 20%, but you don't need to do that. There's different ways that you can get into an investing game. Okay. Also, I searched for the best lender that I could to be able to get a solid pre-approval. This is important. You have to know how you're going to get funding for the investment property. I made sure that my credit was solid, because if your credit is on some BS and there's 5 and 6 other people bidding for this property, you will get passed up. Trust and believe. And also, when it comes to investment properties in Austin, how much you can put down as a down payment does play a factor. The sellers are always more receptive to people that have the money up front, because it's less headache on the back end. Okay. And like I said before, I made immediate offers on properties that had a 70% chance of success. I did not wait for everything to be perfect. You can't do that in a market where everybody and their mama is trying to get a property, because of which I ended up paying beyond what my agent thought that I should have paid, but it was okay because I knew that I could get it on the back end. Listen, I'm looking into another property right now. Like I told you guys, I'm under contract. And, you know, I'm hoping that everything will go through. It may or it may not. That's just a part of the game. That's why I haven't spoken much on it. And when I was going to the bank to talk about how I could leverage my current property to get my next property, the first question that the lender asked me was, "You don't plan on selling this property, do you? Because you would be a fool to sell in your location." Okay. So you want to this is something that you want to know also, guys. When you can get that first property and you can take good care of that, you can take the equity out of that property to end up getting another property. Okay. You could do different things. You could do a cash out refinance. But like I said, Patreon level game. I'm keeping this just covering the overview of everything that I did without going into a world of detail, keeping y'all on here all night. Okay. But just know, you really want to make sure that you just get started. It doesn't need to be the perfect property. It doesn't need to be flawless. When you start your first property, you're going to make some mistakes, but just use that as an experience for your next one. Okay. Because my next property is really where I want to make a mark. Now, you're going to go through a lot of paperwork. So you just need to be ready for that off top, guys. Be ready for massive amounts of paperwork. Okay. And I want to say one last thing. Okay. This whole thing took about 4 months in total in terms of me making the offer to closing. One thing that I did that helped me get my investment property easier was get it while I was at my 9-to-5 job. And the reason why that was easier is because banks, in my experience, are more willing or more receptive to people that have guaranteed checks coming in on the 1st and the 15th versus entrepreneurs where the income is not at a fixed amount. Even when it comes to rental investors, for those of you guys that are going to be tenants, always try to look for people that work steady jobs. Always look for people that have worked at jobs for years on end, because unlike the entrepreneur, you don't want the money to be speculative. You want to know that that check is coming in on the 1st and 15th guaranteed, and then that will actually set you up for better payment models, because you can actually use automatic withdrawals. There's software that's out here today, multiple payment processors, to where you never even have to deal with the tenant directly in order to get rent. You can use a automated payment system where you could just take an automatic withdrawal out of their account every month. Okay. Again, but this is the reason why banks and other investors prefer 9-to-5 workers over entrepreneurs. If you are a 9-to-5 worker, but you're thinking about jumping out of that 9 to 5 and getting into a business full time, I strongly recommend that you buy your first investment property before you exit. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you end up wanting to buy a property, one of the first things that they're going to request of you is your past 2 years worth of banking statements and tax returns. Okay. And if your last 2 years of your tax returns show that, hey, even if you made money from your business, it wasn't wildly profitable, the banks may give you some resistance. So just know that's one thing that can come. Guys, I know I threw a lot at you, but this is all that you need in order for you to get your very first rental property. Okay. So now I'm going to take some time to answer some questions. For those of you guys that want to cam up with me, feel free to do so. And also, guys, if you felt like you got a lot of value from tonight's broadcast, then please donate. Okay. Super chat. That's what keeps this show on air. Okay. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below, and it will be greatly appreciated. So, LA for Life has some more questions. LA for Life said, hey, if y'all ain't going to ask questions, that's what she's going to do. And that's so smart. And I appreciate you, LA for Life, for being a top sponsor. You said that you have a house in Compton worth a little bit over 500,000. Would you recommend we sell it or keep it? It's been a hard decision for our family. You need to get with me on that free consultation that I was offering you, LA for Life, because I could really walk through all of the details with you on that. There's a lot that I would want to look at first, especially because, for example, okay, if you sell it, where are you going to live? That's the first question. If you hold on to it, who's going to manage the property? Are you going to be doing it, coming back and forth? Are you going to have a property manager? Like, there's some questions that I want to ask. You said you're down the street from Manhattan Beach. Set up that consultation with me, LA for Life. Okay. I want to get some more details so that way I can help you the most with your specific situation. Okay. I don't want to just give you general advice, especially for all that you do in supporting this channel. So somebody on here had mentioned taking out the equity, which is an option. But like I said, let's look at the consultation, because let's see everything that you have on your plate. Okay. Let's see everything that's on your plate. But right now, I mean, just based upon everything that I'm hearing, I wouldn't think, just at first glance, I wouldn't think to sell either. The reason why I wouldn't think to sell is because, eh, being in LA County, those properties are going to go up drastically, man. I remember me growing up in Los Angeles. I remember properties that were valued at a couple 100,000 are now worth over $1 million. So yeah, let's talk. Let's talk, LA for Life. Shoot me an email, okay? And we'll get it all ironed out. And thank you so much for the $10 super chat once again. Okay, really appreciate you. Okay. So, guys, y'all know, as with every episode, I give you an opportunity to be an investor. That's the reason why I'm going to give you the opportunity to get 2 free stocks sponsored by Webull. Webull is one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. And when you join, they're going to give you 2 free stocks just for setting up a account. Now, one of the great things about Webull, guys, is not only can you invest in stocks, you can also invest in cryptocurrency. Okay. So you want to make sure that you set up an account so that way it's all in one place. For those of you that want to know more about how to work with me, you might want to check out my book, The How to Succeed Survival Guide. Okay, this is a free book that I offer. All you got to do is click the link, put in your name, your address, where I can send the book, take care of the shipping and handling, and this book will be on the way. In this book, I show you guys how I paid off $95,000 in student loans 2 years after graduating from Baylor University. Shout out to Baylor, sick 'em bears. And I also talk more about how I made the transition successfully from my 9 to 5 job into being a full-time entrepreneur, real estate investor, and best-selling author. Okay, guys. So if you want to get a free copy of that book, then I am putting the link in the description below. LA for Life says she got the book. Okay. So tell us about that, LA for Life. First off, did you get the book pretty fast? Did you have to wait a million years, or did you get the book in a pretty good time frame? Also, when you got the book, did the book look just like this? Okay, as advertised. All right, guys, I want you to see this is the front of the book. This is the back of the book. This is the inside of the book. Okay. I wrote this book with some of the things that are happening right now in mind. Okay. LA for Life says she got the book so fast she didn't even blink. Okay. So, guys, I do this thing. I do this in real life. Okay. And I appreciate your support. And when you help me, it really helps to help you. Now, Ronald Pierre Paul asked, do you provide mentorship and how much do you charge? Yes, I'm starting to get back into consulting. Okay. I had some experiences with this in the past, which really motivated me to do a lot of my stuff pre-recorded. But I do want to start working with a few people head on. So I'm going to open up a few slots. I'm not going to open up many consulting slots, guys, because I just simply don't have the time. Okay. But there will be a few of you who will be able to have access to that. Stay tuned for more details throughout the week, and I'll provide you guys with more information. Okay. I'll probably open up like an hour consultation slot. Okay. So just be on the lookout. And I truly appreciate all of you guys for all of your questions and all of your support. Listen, guys, we out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If there are specific topics that you want me to talk about, leave me a comment after this class. Okay. Leave me a comment. I said class because I just saw Creative's comment about how she's going to be looking into the free book after the class. But yeah, make sure, guys, if you want me to do a show about a certain topic, leave me a comment below and I will start talking about it. Okay. I'm here for y'all. Whatever you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll see if I can put something together. As you know, I do this show 6 days a week from Sunday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please mark your calendars. And if you have not yet done so, please subscribe. Okay. Be your brother's keeper, y'all. Don't keep this channel a secret. Make sure that you share it on your social media platforms. Tell other people about it. LA for Life asks, what about life insurance, term versus whole life? I am definitely a huge proponent of term life insurance. I am a firm believer, LA for Life, that the amount of money that you put into a whole life, if you took that exact same amount and put it into other investments, whether it be an index fund, whether it be a cryptocurrency investment, whether it be real estate or other things, you would get a better return on your investments because whole life insurance policies are not designed to be an investment vehicle. It is designed to provide you insurance in the event that you pass away. And I know that, these policies, they say, well, if you don't pass away in a certain amount of years, you can still pull money from it. Yeah, that has a way of drawing people in, but you would have so much more money if you took the exact same amount of money and put it towards an investment. You could do a term life for like $30 a month, but you would do a whole life at 100 plus. And again, with the amount of money that you would be foregoing every month towards that policy, you could put it in other places and get greater returns, because you will always get a better return on your investment from an investment vehicle. Any vehicle that's actually designed to be an investment will give you a better return than a whole life policy that may give you 3 to 4% return. Okay, so guys, I'm out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for all the support. Thank you for those who did donate. Shout out to LA for Life for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Rodney Lawrence, for the $5 super chat. Thank you to my sister Shamaya for the $5 super chat. Shout out to our top sponsor for the show. Tonight's official sponsor is LA for Life with the $20 super chat. All right. She took the prize tonight, y'all. So thank y'all so much for the support. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Lord willing, 7 p.m. Central. Make sure that you subscribe. Stay focused, guys. Have a great week. Keep pushing.